Ruler of Dubai states FNC elections provide democratic test to voters. UAE observes UN International World Peace Day. And Typhoon Roke heads for Tokyo. This is 7 National News. In our top story, UAE President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, stated that FNC elections provide a democratic test to voters. Addressing the UAE nation ahead of the election day, the ruler viewed the new democratic experiment as a test for the UAE to exercise the public's franchise in electing those that they see good, competent and able to convey their voice to the dome of the FNC. He added that it is also important to take matters seriously, especially issues of national concern, which should not be diluted or passed through quickly, adding that the House acts as one of key channels for shaping the future of the country. Meanwhile, Her Highness Sheikha Fatima bint Mubarak, the chairwoman of the General Women's Union and of the Family Development Foundation, has called upon Emirati women to exercise their rights to vote in the FNC elections. She stated that Emirati women are living in a golden age, adding that Emirati women represent 46% of the total electoral college nationwide. On the 30th anniversary of the UN International World Peace Day, countries across the globe are engaging in events and activities to make their support for the cause evident, with this year's theme being Peace and Democracy, Make Your Voice Heard. It's a day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace and harmony. The UAE, for the first time, is joining in to celebrate the festivities, along with 200 million people taking part in 10,000 events worldwide. Young women and men are exhibiting the power of solidarity by reaching out to promote value for human rights. Supporting civil society empowerment, fighting gender and racial discrimination, and engaging in civic education are some of the ways in which people are showing their support in order to create a peaceful and powerful democratic future.
We have a number of countries in the region which are going through situations of conflict, wars, and unrest. And this is something that's taken a heavy toll on them because it affects their health, it affects their survival, it affects their education and their learning, and it also affects them even on a mental and a psychological basis, because if you live in a situation of conflict, then of course that leaves a deep impact on you because you see people injured, because you see your rights being denied, and because you yourself as a child might be injured, or for some children, unfortunately, sometimes killed. And I think it's very important to think about them on the occasion of World Peace Day.
In recent years, industry experts say that they've been seeing a rise in the number of people buying and selling antiques and other collectible items more than ever now. They say the interest is overwhelming, and while it is great to see an increasing interest in history, archaeologists and antique experts also find it alarming. According to them, the mounting demand contributes a lot to the rise in the number of looters excavating sites illegally and stealing items to sell in the black market. 7 National News took a closer look.
The search for a gold mine is not a thing of the past, and Indiana Jones wannabes as well as other Tomb Raider characters are still very much alive in this day and age, according to Sharjah's Archaeology Museum. In fact, they say this practice that began thousands of years ago has now led to a lucrative trade that's endangering history.
Many antiquities trade illegally, coming to the country and other country here in this part of the world, and being transferred to Europe and state, because looters and smugglers want to own and do their business because they make lots of money from this trade.
Back in 1992, these items from the Bronze Age found their way to an international auction in London. His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, ruler of Sharjah, bought and brought it back to the UAE due to its historic significance to the emirate. It is now on display at the archaeology section of the Sharjah Museum. According to experts, the increase in the trade of stolen artifacts and antiques can be attributed to a variety of factors, including the economic situation in many countries in the region.
We are getting phone calls from many places, from many people that they want to sell from Syria, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. They have something, and most of the time they have the best quality of the objects. Sometimes it's become because people don't have that awareness about their history, so they move that, they sell, and they look how to earn the money.
Sharjah boasts of many important burial and excavation sites that provide insight to the Emirate's past and how the people lived and died. In these sites, various items including arrowheads, spears, and jewelry were found. Experts say they receive an average of 2 to 3 local and international calls daily, often peddling ancient and valuable articles.
Antiquities department has this responsibility. They are working closely with the Sharjah police and with the customs, as well as the Interpol office in Sharjah.
At present, numerous awareness activities and exhibitions are being held about the subject. Meanwhile, the demand for collectors' items is also on the rise. According to an online community classifieds, Dubizel, they have been witnessing a mounting demand for the buy and sell of rare collectibles more than ever in recent years.
We have a collectible section on the site on Dubizel, and we've seen it growing steadily in the last few years, and especially in the last year. So we've seen all variety of things. So it could be something with the value of few dirhams, and it could go up to a few 100,000 dirhams. So you can find anything on Dubizel.
While the demand for these modern-day collectors' items is encouraged, archaeologists say the public must look at antiques and artifacts differently. They say there's still more to discover and learn, and for the sake of generations to come, they hope looters would think twice before digging the past and putting history up for sale. Khadija Sali, 7 National News.
Hospitals across the country have reported a significant drop in the number of heat stroke victims due to better enforcement of the midday break rule. Doctors attribute the fall in numbers to awareness from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Labour of the midday rule. The Q8 hospital in Sharjah has reported an 80% drop in admissions of heat stroke sufferers, from 728 cases last summer to 122 this year. And over in the capital, the Sheikh Khalifa Medical City, Abu Dhabi, reported 58 cases over the June-September period, compared to 73 in the same period in 2010. Experts say this is a huge improvement due to stricter rules from the government and more awareness to labourers. Dubai Customs has seized 6 kilograms of hashish, 800 pills of Captagon narcotics, and 4 live bullets, which were hidden inside a vehicle. The discovery was made at the Hatta border entry point into Dubai, where a GCC national tried to enter into the emirate. The hashish was stashed inside the car's engine, and the Captagon capsules were in the engine filter, weighing 16.66 grams. Officials at Dubai Customs stated that the workforce is fully trained with courses in body language techniques and various inspection methods to safeguard the community from prohibited substances. And 87 cartons of whiskey and 240 bottles of beer have been confiscated in Al Quoz by the Environmental Emergency Office of the Dubai municipality. As a part of more intense crackdowns across the emirate, the municipality also seized 900 packets of Nazwa. It's a dipping tobacco which is made from tobacco leaves, calcium oxide and wood ash. And looking to news abroad now, Typhoon Roke made landfall near central Japan on Wednesday and headed for the nation's capital of Tokyo, killing 4 and leaving behind flooding in the industrial heartland of Japan. The Category 2 storm pummeled the shores of the Wakayama prefecture, with winds of over 160 kilometres per hour. Some parts of Japan were expected to get their average monthly rainfall in 12 hours. While local authorities were strengthening their riverbanks ahead of the typhoon, Tokyo residents were also preparing for the worst. The Japanese government warned all those in the path of the typhoon to heed any evacuation orders immediately. And numerous bushfires flared up in and around Sydney on Tuesday, erupting in the iconic Blue Mountains just west of the city. High winds caused flames to suddenly leap up, at one stage threatening houses near the tourist town of Lura. Concerned residents looked on as firefighters radioed for reinforcements to be brought in. It took 30 fire trucks and 2 helicopters to fight the Blue Mountains fires, while residents prepared to evacuate, with flames lapping at their backyard fences. Police were investigating the cause of the fires and were on the lookout for suspicious activity, as fire commanders were angered by the prospect that some fires may have been deliberately lit. And up next, we have the day's business news, so stay with us.